Hello everyone, today I'm going to do something a little different. I woke up and just was like, yeah, it's time to live stream today. I didn't get to do it this week, was super busy, and I thought, you know what, it's early, that's a different time, so different people can make it, maybe some European people, maybe just people that don't have to go to work today, and so I was like, what am I going to do today? And I was like, well, my job today is kind of to make some videos, and we got to sell stuff, because, you know, we just got to keep sales up and that kind of stuff, so I thought, why not merge the two, right? So today what I'm doing is kind of what like a tech reviewer would do, and that's like, what's in your bag? Except I don't have a bag. Why, I do, but it's tech stuff. But I have a fish room, and so I thought, well, what's actually in my fish room? So I walked around, and I grabbed all the products that were readily available so I could just talk about them. Now, let's be clear here. Is this going to end up being a giant sales pitch? Probably. So if you're not into that, listening about products, don't watch it. This is going to be like watching like a tech review or something. Like, let's learn more about that product, right? And you can't really do that without talking pros and cons, which people say that's a sales pitch. So we'll get that right out of the way, right out of the gate. And I don't know how long I can go live for today. Just thought, you know what? It's time to do it. So I'm going to do it. And yeah, so I'm just going to grab products that I had around the fish room and talk about them. So the first one, I happen to have Hikari First Bites. And these are like a little microscopic food. It's very fine powder. And really I only use this if I have like a brine shrimp batch go wrong, or I didn't hatch brine shrimp because I was out of town, and I just want something very fine foods. And what would I feed this to? Like fry of like, you know, maybe angelfish or crebensis or rams, or, well, maybe not ram. Well, I would feed it to rams, but if I wouldn't eat that much of it because they want brine shrimp. A pisto fry, and just in general, anything that wants to be very small foods. Now, this is also something, I got secret projects, but there's a secret forum out there where I hang out, and doing a brine shrimp pond outside. This is a food I'm going to feed the brine shrimp as well, because it's a fine powder food. It'll stay in the water, and they're a filter feeder. So I had it laying around and grabbed it, because that's product number one. I set it over in the I talked about it pile. They're not in no order, by the way. It's not like, oh, these are most important versus least important or anything like that. It's just gonna, you know, if I see something pop up in the chat, and you know, I'll answer it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep going. So, and you know, yeah, obviously order all this stuff from us, because that's amazing. It keeps us doing what we're doing, and you know, to be honest, we could use it. So hey, next up, I know this one's gonna get me in trouble, but the brine shrimp hatcher by ZISS. This is the second one, so sometimes I'll get 2 batches going if I want to feed more than once a day or anything like that. And yes, are these out of stock? Yes. Are they sitting in a warehouse at the airport right now? Yes. Are like customs companies or brokers like having some problems? Not problems, delays. Did I want them for the weekend? Yes, I did, but probably Monday or Tuesday they'll be in stock again, and a couple pallets worth. So don't worry if you're waiting on one, they're coming. But this brine shrimp hatcher, also known as our Artemia blender, kind of looks like a blender, super hard plastic. And the big thing that I want to address here is that a lot of people say, well, it doesn't work with the airstone. I don't use it with the airstone. This is how I use it. I use it with just, I hang it, so there's that. You open it up, let the brine shrimp out, and then up top here, I use just a piece of plastic, no airstone, and you just want the piece of plastic which is supplied with a piece of airline tubing, so it's a little bit flexible, see? To go right down into the bottom of that thing. You put your salt, you put your eggs in there, you put your water, obviously. Boom, you make brine shrimp about a day later. Now when it comes to brine shrimp, temperature plays a part, water chemistry plays a part. There's a few little things, but somewhere between 18 and 36 hours where you should be getting most of your hatch. And you know, if you've never hatched live baby brine, it is magical in a fish room. So, you know, it's another level. Until you experience it, you're just gonna, yeah, I feed foods, yeah, and trust me, I'm there too. I like to be lazy, but gotta go on the side of talked about. Set that on the ground there, and I run that with USB air pump. That's what this little doohickey is. They run super quiet. I think it's basically the most quiet out there. There's ways to run it with a battery backup if you want. You can use the USB plug-in that we supply. By the way, the ones that we sell now, if you bought these in the past, the ones we sell now have an upgraded USB adapter, which costs us more money. It's twice as much money on that, but it comes with 2 plugs and they're more amperage, so they actually work well for, like, you know, in a pinch charging your phones and that kind of stuff as well. So that's nice. You know, we're charging, well, oh man, I have salsa on my battery pack here, so that's not good, but hold on. It was Taco Friday last night. So I can plug this in. And let's see if I can get this to be heard in the microphone. Now, this will be louder than if there's airline tubing on it, but you can see I'm running it from this battery pack that I use this for filming, but we'll see if you guys got to hear that. But this is what makes it really nice. What we're working on kind of on the forum and stuff like that is trying to find a good solar option for this, because I'm using it on my ponds outside, the brine shrimp pond and the other ponds, and they work really well for that. Other people are using them for ponds as well. They kind of hang them underneath stuff so they're protected. Like, I don't think this will do well getting wet long term, so mine's always under the eaves and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I use it to hatch my brine shrimp because this can just hang up right above. The airline tubing, well, I guess I should do the old demonstration, demorino. Right here. You would just, I have it loose like that. I have it hang above a sink. This hangs, this on a nail, plugged in. Brine shrimp bubbles. I don't have to run air from my main air pump or anything over there. Just, it can go in by any sink, utility sink, laundry room. Doesn't really matter where it goes, as long as it's not super duper cold. You want to keep it warm. If it's super cold, you got to run the heater. That's what this port's for. But yeah, that's how that runs. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about my airline tubings. This stuff right here, which Well Done Aquatics Trent managed to do an 8 video about tubing. That impressed even me, because I don't even think I could do that. Well, I could do that, but I don't want to do that. The airline tubing we have is made out of food-grade PVC. And you say, what? Why not silicone? Why are you so bad, Corey? That's what I thought. Until we were really trying to manufacture the best tubing out there, and we talked to every supplier, and they're like, we don't do silicone. No one does silicone. I'm like, no, people doing silicone. No, they're not. And I go to the next manufacturer, and I'd be like, I want silicone. They'll be like, it's crazy expensive. No one does that. And I'm like, yeah, but people do. And they're like, no. They're calling food-grade PVC silicone. And I'm like, I don't know. And so obviously I haven't tested every competitor, but every manufacturer I went to was like, yeah, it's food-grade PVC. Don't be an idiot. And I'm like, okay, I'm like the only one not in the know here. And, you know, after testing it, like, it is amazing. So whether all I know is, yes, this is the stuff. And it holds up really well. It's black, obviously. Do I have, yeah. So to prove that you know, this is kind of how I go shopping here at my warehouse. We've been working on the 800 gallon and the tanks. And so I grabbed an empty box of ICX and I filled it with the supplies I needed. And so I grabbed lots of tubing, which, by the way, we're probably going to run out of tubing for a week or two at the end of, well, maybe middle of August or something like that. They're selling faster than we anticipated. Good problem to have. Also bad problem to have. So there's that. But yeah, in this box I also grabbed the ZISS brain not working too early air valve. Woo! So you got that little, block my face, air valve. Grabbed a bunch of those. So what I like to do is I like to put that right above the tank so you can adjust the flow. And then I also grabbed the metal air valves to put into PVC. Now, we've been asked before, are these self-tapping, or do you have to sell the tap for them? I have to have a tap. And I was like, no, we don't sell a tap. You don't need a tap. And they're like, no, you gotta have a tap. And so then we installed them at the warehouse and here, even just yesterday or the day before yesterday. All you do, and eventually you guys will get access to the secret forum, you can see how it's done, but you just put it in the chuck of the drill, which of course I don't have a drill with me, but you put it in the chuck and then you just spin it in and there it goes. Like, obviously you have to drill a hole first. Let's be clear here. This isn't like, it's not going to drill you a hole, but You don't need to buy the threading apparatus or anything like that. Like, it'll spin right into there, so don't worry about it. So that's why we don't carry the spinny thing. I also grabbed some plant weights. I wasn't sure, and I ended up not using any currently, but I grabbed plant weights for the 800 gallon. As you can see, we planted it on Thursday. Ugh. So it's freshly planted. A lot of stuff's got to grow in. Over here, there's 50 potted crypt Wendeti red. There's 25 Vallisneria through the back. Some Anubias barteri. These crinums was that big crinum you saw. I split it up. There's actually 3. I put 2 in there and 1 somewhere else. And that's all there is. Yeah, that's all there is for right now. And that's not true. There's 2 dwarf aquarium lily bulbs. Because I love dwarf aquarium lily bulbs. If you don't own a dwarf aquarium lily bulb, stop watching right now and go order one. They're amazing. So yeah, buy them. And they're $4. Good Lord. So also what I have, I grabbed my product and my refill here. Well, it's not my refill, like I should be doing this, but I wanted one for a camera. So here's how my brain works. I was like, oh, I'm running out. I should grab refill. I was like, wait, no. I want a full one so that I can show it on camera. And then I was going to show it on camera, and then I thought, people are going to think I only brought this home to show on camera, and I don't actually use it. So then I grabbed my one that's all, like, you can tell it's been squeezed a million times. So to prove that, like, legit, this is, this is, well, I use it. Like, I don't know why it's so important that I make sure that people believe me that I actually use the product that I design. But I don't want it to come off as like, he's only selling to sell. I'm like, no, I actually use it. That's not true. Not most. All the products I end up designing are ones that I use all the time, and then I think, hey, I could make that better, or I want this to do something different. Yeah. So what do I got next? Lighting. I haven't shown these off in years, but I still use, I brought 4 of these home. These are 36-inch for the 125-gallon tanks. I tried it with Stingray, and on the bigger 125s, the Stingrays is not good enough. On the 75s, fine, but after about a year, well, I don't know if it's quite a year, but quite a long time with the Stingrays, just not happy with how it looked and the plant growth, and so I said, you know what? I gotta bite the bullet and get the lights that I know grow well. Like, these are the lights. I run 4 4-footers on the 800-gallon, lights it up really bright, and plant growth is good. And I wanted that, and I'm getting good plant growth on the 125s. You'll see that. Again, I'm supposed to shoot videos. I'm planning to shoot some videos today, and so you guys will see that coming up on what's going on with the tanks over there. I've been working quite a bit on them, and yeah. So next up, this one is the one I don't have. Corey uses it because I have so much of it that I'm using that I buy. I bring it. I guess I buy it. Yeah. I bring it and buy it by the case. Does this have anything incriminating on there? No. So this is Xtreme fish food. This is the flake food. And yeah, I use a lot of this. The only problem I have with this flake food's expensive, but it is really good. I look at it and go, it's expensive. Oh, I hate how expensive it is. I want it to be cheaper. And then I go, yeah, but it's krill, and it's amazing, and the fish look insane, and the fish go nuts for it. And I think about, like, well, if you own anything less than, like, 30 aquariums, this would last a really long time. For me, like some of the quarantine fish for the 800-gallon, I've got about 800 of them. Well, they eat 800 fish, eat a lot of flake food, and most people probably aren't feeding 800 fish daily and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, okay. And so I thought I would grab this. This is more flake, right? And you would think, well, maybe you wouldn't, but let me see if I can get the comparison here. I got a sneeze coming on, by the way, so shield yourself. Let's see if I can get that. You'd think that these are fairly similar. This is krill. This is actually brine shrimp. And so this came to us after, and the brine shrimp flake is just not as good as the krill. So we never ended up having it put into production or anything like that. It doesn't smell as good. It smells, but I don't know. It's just not right. Like, somehow when it's right. And that krill flake is just right. And that's you know, it really is just good. So I use a lot of that krill flake, and even though this sample was free, I don't use it because the fish don't really eat it very well. So, you know, sorry to Xtreme on that one. By the way, I should mention I am officially sponsored by Xtreme. They send me, they basically send me one thing of flake food and then these two every month. But my needs have changed, and so I just use an insane amount of flake food at this point. And I mean, I use this a little bit, but not nearly as much. That's kind of why I have these full, because, you know. But yes, I do use the pellets, you know, all varieties. This one I had just around for testing. I don't actually feed my fish room very often. This is the betta pellets. Works great, though. We feed it at the store every day for the bettas. Oh, this one actually didn't get sent for free. This one came in with a cracked lid right there. So it has a seal, right? Like, I don't know if this one's still sealed or if I was feeding out of it or not. No, this one was, I opened it up. They come with a seal, but the seal was intact, but the lid was broken, and we won't want to send you out a broken lid, so I said, I'll take it home. So yeah, those foods work well for, I was feeding clown loaches, goldfish, what else was I feeding? Whiptail cats from Peru. Probably some other stuff, I don't know. What else I got laying around? Oh yeah, because I had new fish, I mean there's more meds, but because I had new fish, I had ICX. So I had the shot glass and the ICX. You can see I'm actually using it there, and it stains your hands blue, it'll stain silicone blue, but you don't really notice it over time. At least the average person doesn't notice it. Like, no one walks in our store like, oh my god, can't see past the blue seals. Like, they're lightly blue, and that's kind of the price you gotta pay. It doesn't happen with acrylic, don't worry. But yeah, I mean, I've heard people stain their decorations, and my response would be like, don't dump it on the decoration. I've never had it stain decorations, but that doesn't mean it couldn't and never would. And if as soon as I say that, someone's gonna be like, how dare you? How dare you? It stained my blah blah blah. So I don't want to do that either. What do I got? Oh yeah, probably my best product. I wish I had something hilarious that was like not a good product, but I don't. On my desk. I mean, I'm sure I have some stuff laying around, but Easy Green fertilizer. If you're not using this, this is my claim to fame. It's, you know, if you have a high-tech CO2 tank with 700 lights and 200 bubbles of CO2 per second, don't use this. But if you're an average person that likes to eat tacos and have a good time, this is for you. This will grow your plants. I use it. I'm working on setting up the auto doser back on the 800 gallon. We use it in the warehouse. I wish Jimmy was here and just like cut to warehouse footage and be like, wow, plants look amazing. We're like, that's Easy Green. But instead, you have to deal with this beautiful face telling you Easy Green is amazing. And honestly, I think it's still the best thing we've ever done. So next up, kind of a new thing. Well, not new. New but not new. New but not new. That is the new packaging on our sponge filters. We ran through most of the just plain box, right? And so there's still like one size at the warehouse. Still have some plain box, so don't be like, oh no. But most of them are now at the green box, and so you get a little bit of instructions on there and a little bit of branding. But, you know, our sponge filters, the reason I have this sitting around is installing them, right? So, you know, these are all legit. They're in my fish room, not just to talk about, but I'm actually utilizing them and installing them. And, you know, we set up more ponds. We, you know, putting backgrounds on tanks, and we're swapping things out because I had prototypes. You know, everything gets tested, so I had prototypes. I'm like, well, that's not as good as the one that we have now, but it was a prototype. But I wanted to, you know, let them go long enough. And so, well, let's get that on straight. But yeah, and this is the size, by the way. As I'll just say it. All you fools that are buying the bigger one, you're a fool. You're a fool. This medium-sized one is so good for cleaning. It fits in your hand. I'll use 1 billion of these before I'll ever use a larger one. The larger one, it's hard to get the bag around it. It takes longer to get the crud out of it. And by the way, when you take the crud out of it, you take the top off, you pull the sponge off, and you clean it. And so you see how you can, like, you get your hand around it, you can really squeeze this thing. Well, once it's that bigger one, now you're trying to, like, and from a guy that squeezed way too many sponge filters in his life, working at a fish store back before I owned one, that had 300, tanks with sponge filters, you would develop like carpal tunnel from doing this, like, because you'd have to clean them, and each one's like 2 or 3 minutes, and you're just, ugh. And by the end of the day, the tendons and everything here would just be like on fire. And so, trust me when I say this is the size you want to be doing. Anything bigger, you start getting into different motions. Like, oh, let me pancake it. Let me do anything that doesn't break my wrist. So yeah, you'll always see an army of this size. If I had my choice, if the public agreed with me, I would only carry this size. But people buy based on, well, it said here it's only meant for 20 gallon. Like, well, sure, but run a couple of them in your 55. Like I like running multiple instead of just one anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, I can't tell a lie. You got Murphy approved. Will we ship internationally? We don't. We have it on the roadmap. We're looking at it. We're in talks with companies that can help us facilitate that. We're looking at what products can we offer to what country. Is that going to happen tomorrow? No. Is it going to happen in 6 months? Maybe. I don't know. I can't tell you. The only thing we've got going on right now, we've got some products on Amazon and Canada. Otherwise, you got to be in the United States, which I realize if I could wave a magic wand and everyone could buy from me, that would be great, and I would totally do it because that makes us money. That makes my job easier. That makes my job more fulfilling. It's really great when you work on a product, you pick it out, you maybe I design it. Like, even if I'm just picking it out, I'm like, this is the one. All right, present it to the public. Oh, they love it. Oh, it's the best feeling ever. And then there's times when you're like, I love this thing. No one else loves it. What's wrong with me? I love it. And so, but over time you get much better at going, is this like, you only love this if you have 100 aquariums, or you love this if you have any aquarium? And so you got to put on that hat of will the average person need this, or is this just Crazy Corey that needs this? Because every once in a while it's just Crazy Corey, and I got to reel myself back in to not Crazy Town. All right, what else I got laying around here? Not too many more. Let's see. I've got some Repashy food. This is a community blend. Now, we sell a lot of different varieties. This is the one that is kind of my tried and true go-to community. It's well eaten. That just sounds like not the right way to describe that. Most things take to it really well. It's got an even consistency, whereas like Bottom Scratcher is a little more rubbery, and the Morning Wood's got wood in it, and there's all these different blends. This is the one that like everything will eat, and so I like to use this one when I do make it. And I will say we only carry the 6-ounce jars now. We used to carry 3 and 6, but we decided to streamline it, and we got a better deal going. So all we do is buy the 6 ounces. We lowered the price by it was like $5. So it was like 25%. We were able to lower the price like by 25% on this. As far as I know, we're doing really well on pricing on this. And only carry the 6 ounce. So that's what we did. We thought like, wait, we can basically charge a couple bucks more than the 3 ounce and give them 6 ounces. Let's do that. Streamline it. We only sell 6 ounces. And so all of them, we only sell the 6 ounce. And then there's always a person in the back, but Corey, why don't you sell the 4-pounder? Why don't you sell the crazy one that most people don't buy? Oh, yeah. That's because most people don't buy that one, and there's no profit. That was literally one of the items, the 4-pound jars. That was one of the items we were losing money on. When we did the math, we're like, wait, you pay by credit card, we have to ship it, and there's only like a $10 spread. It's like, wait, it's $12 to ship it, and they pay the credit card. We lose $3 every time we ship one? Can't be doing that. And then because people or other vendors sell it like that, and so the big thing we get into, we'll only ship priority, right? So that's like 1 to, I guess, 4 days with COVID and that kind of stuff, but 1 to 4 day shipping. There's lots of companies that just ship it like 9 to 12, like UPS ground. And because we only ship priority, that's where that cost breakdown. So another company could ship and they're like, well, we make $3. I lose $3. And so that's why we get into like, well, I guess we can't carry that product. We can carry most things. We'll make it make sense. And not always does the Aquarium Co-op effect work, where it's like we'll buy massive amounts and bring the price down and be competitive. Sometimes it's just not there. And so with you guys buying, though, that's what helps us leverage a lot of these products. So, we're grateful for that. I will say, what do I got here? By the way, a lot of orders are getting stickers shipped out. I'm just going to go through these. So at random, by the way, it's at random. So if you don't get one, sorry, but we've increased the likelihood, because we had people like, I'm not getting any, this sucks. And then we had people like, I got 3 in a row. So we're trying to make it more, like these, each sticker costs us money. So it's not free. Nothing's free, right? Well, it's free for you guys, I guess. But yeah, we're still adding new stickers. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but we have the Corridora. There we go. So the Corridora sticker. And if you don't know, these are die cut. So they're cut to, like, you don't have to worry that you're not going to see the barcode. They're cut to the shape. So you'd have a Corridora, right? And so all of them are that way. So don't worry, you don't have to worry about the barcode or anything. Let me get that back on there so I can stick that somewhere else later. We got the Stingray. Focus on, there we go. And the Angelfish. And the Murphy. And the Cardinal Tetra. And the Aquarium Co-Op logo. Okay, that was really anticlimactic, because I was going to go, and, another logo, and, it's Murphy again. Dang it. Okay, well, I think we have got ones I don't have here. We have a Clown Loach. That's the one I should have like 40 of. How do I not have a Clown Loach around? All right, well, those, if you don't, if you want a specific one, you can buy them at, I think they're like $4. Like, we get them UV coated so they can go like on a car. They're a higher quality sticker. They're not like, we used to give out those freebie green ones, and we made them as cheap as possible. I mean, it's still UV coated and all that, but these are because they're die cut, they're thicker, they're like, they've got this special coating on them to be like thicker plastic and all of that. They actually need to hold up underwater, or not underwater. Let me be clear here. Don't put these underwater. But if they were to get wet, they shouldn't instantly like go to crap, and they last a while on a car, and like Jimmy's got them on his phone and that kind of stuff. So we want to, so if you're going to pay for a sticker, like, it's going to hold up, and it's not just like instantly like, oh, that's crappy, because that makes us look bad. So we try not to do that. All right. What else I got? This I desperately need to be using like today. There is so much nerd like scrunch on the front of this tank right now. Dean and I we're getting, Dean was in at one point, then I was in on Thursday getting out. And the thing you don't know, you think it's hot where you're at right now, right? I promise you it's 10 times hotter inside your aquarium without any water. You're in this like, glass or acrylic box, and you're breathing in there and you're working. You're just like, you're dying. You're like, what is going on? You realize you're basically just like in a place, you've like locked yourself in a closet essentially. It gets so hot in there. So by the time you're crawling out on a ladder, if your arm or anything, or you put your hand on the tank, it's like it leaves a sweat mark. And so the Fritz glass cleaner is actually awesome. We use it in the store. I use it here. I'll hit it before I go and film, and it really takes off all the water spots or nerd scunge if you had to crawl inside your tank. And I just really like it. So, it's like $8 or something. It's not free. It's not cheap. You might already have Windex, but Windex you don't want to get in your tank. This is safe, at least. I don't recommend pouring it in, but it's safe with overspray. And then I do love these. This is our algae scrubbers, and you might say that's just a magic eraser. And I would tell you, yeah, for the most part, pretty much is. Oh, okay, it's not even fighting it. No, I'm not. This is just non-scented. We know where we get them. It's a melamine pad, right? And they're $1. And you're going to go, well, they break down over time. Yeah, that's what they do, right? But what I like about it is I can get in there and I can really just start scrubbing on stuff. And people say, well, microabrasions on your acrylic aquarium. Yeah, that's true. I've never had a problem with it. Like I use it on all my acrylic aquariums. There's no problem on glass at all. Different people have different thresholds, obviously. You know, but I can't tell. I sit there and scrub. I can't tell a difference. But it murders algae, right? And I use it to clean glass tops, and I use it if I need to scrub down, like let's say I had an infected tank or something. You're like, oh, I want to scrub this down. It's kind of, drain it. Okay, and then this goes in the garbage when you're done because it's looking a little ratty and all that. And it's not like a $5 scrubber; it's $1. So you can get one, and if you're going to town on it though, I will. People are like, well, it could rip apart. It can. Like if you're just, if you're really hard with something, eventually it's gonna hit and start wanting to rip because you're gonna hit corners and stuff, right? But I swear by these things. That's why they're around, and that's why you can see like this one's used. This is not what you get from us, by the way. This is not how it comes. Like they would come perfectly white and perfect. This is Corey's been using it. Look, he ripped it. Corey ripped it. How dare he? He used it. But I really do like them, and they're $1. So, if you've never used one, get one. Only one. I don't want to sell you 100 of them, and then you're like, I hate them. Well, don't buy 100. Buy one. Sneeze, still working on it. Ugh. We should sell a 12-pack. We would, but we don't save any money. The problem is like they're light, but because we got to ship them quickly again, 12 of them actually take up like a decent amount of space, and it still costs us a decent amount of money to ship it. So, there definitely are products where, Randy will come to me like, we actually don't really make money selling that. And I'm like, but do we lose money? And they're like, yeah. Bounty paper towel works just as good. Now that, Clay, I would fight you to the death on. I have literally scratched my acrylic aquarium with paper towel. I can see it. So if that gives you a metric of, I can see that I scratched my tank with a paper towel. I cannot see that I've scratched it with these micro scrubbers or algae scrubbers with micro abrasions. So that's on a glass tank, sure. I also don't think it works the same on the inside. And that's something I should be clear here. I use these on the inside of aquariums. A paper towel on the inside, when you're trying to get like green spot algae off, it's no different than trying to rub my hand on it and get it off. Like it is good for that. On the outside, sure. On a glass tank, sure. Use paper towel, that's fine. But on the inside, it's like a wet noodle. All right, what else? Nano Xtreme food. Got some Nano Xtreme food. This was sent to me as a sample originally. This is not the size we carry because this is like world lifetime supply. So you can see I burn through flake food like it's going out of style all the time. This bigger container than we sell, 9 ounces. Not only is it like $1 billion because 9 ounces of this krill-based food is expensive, but it's just a lot. And my metric is sneeze is like plaguing me nonstop. Hold on. All right, I think I'm good to go. Whew. All right. Where was I with this? Oh, my logic is if I have like 30 tanks at this point and thousands of fish, and it takes me forever to go through something, my average customer doesn't need $1 billion. And we thought about this. Long term, what we're going to try and do is find a way to make our smaller containers in like a bulk, like maybe a buy 3 get 1 free, whenever the developers could get that code working seamlessly. That doesn't mean tomorrow, and does mean ask for it, because we got to work out details and all that, and we got to create a SKU, and so it tracks inventory right, and there's a bunch of stuff. Oh yeah, on the side of Dunsky's side. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you a product that I never endorsed. So back on the flake food trend, we had the brine shrimp flake I wasn't a fan of. Love the krill flake to death. I'm losing all my money on it there's days I wake up and I put it in a bowl myself and put a little milk. Can you see I'm a little red on the screen here? That's the krill. It's really good for your complexion. Public service announcement, don't eat fish food. I'm not legally saying eat fish food. That was a joke. Not serious. Joke. Let me be clear. Joke. For those in the comments, was a joke. All right, got that out of the way. This here, you can see it's got the old label, right? Let me clue you in. Whoop. Oh, come on. Hide my face. There we go. So this is the krill food. It used to only be marketed towards saltwater fish. And I said, why would you do that? This is an amazing freshwater food. So we changed the label, right? So the label became this. Corey helped this because Corey can help with those types of things. Hide my face. So then, you know, you got shrimp and nano fish and discus, which discus love this, by the way. Angels, tetras, yes. But this is one of the originals. They have this doohickey on top that allows you to portion out the food. And the theory is, like, it's got this, and they call it the click lid. And you can see it's got some dust on it because I've had it sitting around in case I ever need to talk about it. But the click lid, see, I dosed out some flake. Now, I want to be 100% transparent because this isn't being fair to Xtreme. They sent me this as a test, and the flake food wasn't the correct size, like the crunchiness of it, like you crunch it down so it would come out. So it's not dosing quite correctly. That being said, I'm not a fan because it added to the cost by like a lot. Like this lid's, it's advanced and super cool. I'm not putting down the lid. The lid's actually like a pretty cool, like apparatus. Like it's a cool concept. You know, the patent's pending and everything for the click lid. And you know, here's the food, obviously. And it's a cool concept, but the way I kind of saw it is like, this is supposed to be sold as a unit. I was like, but maybe we sell just the click lid and you would just put that on a different product, right? And so, I don't know. I'm not on board with it yet because the way I feed it is I like a big container. Like if I'm burning through one of these pretty quickly, I like it so that my hand can get in there. Oh, I'm going to open it. Ooh, it's going to be like a tech reviewer. Ready? Ready? This is the nerdiest thing I've ever done. That can't be true, but the nerdiest thing I've done today, because it's only 9:30 for me. But you know how when you watch someone open an iPhone and they're like, oh, I got to peel it real slow. That's the worst sound ever. All right, but you know, I like to just grab it and start crunching it up because well, that's a good point. I hadn't even, you know, fully articulated my thoughts. I like to crunch the food based on the size of the fry. This is one size. So, like, whether they're tiny fry or big fish, they're going to get whatever comes out of this thing. I like to crunch based on the size of fish. So, bigger fish, don't crunch it. Smaller fish, make it smaller, you know. And especially if there's like guppies, I want kind of large flakes, medium flakes, and small flakes. So that's, you know, I'm just showing some of the testing process and all that to arrive at a product where you're like, this is the one, this version, this thing right here, that's the one. And at the end of it all, it's the one that I have to put our money behind, you know. So because every company's like, you should just carry all the things all the time. Like, how about you just order all the things? And it's like, well, because that costs a lot of money, and I don't think all the things are going to sell, and those two products compete with each other, and that doesn't make sense. And, you know, like, Xtreme's got 12 different sizes or something crazy for each food. It's like, why would I carry 12 of every size? Like, that's going to be like 144 different sizes between the foods, you know? So I pick and choose, bob and weave. What do I got here? Oh, no! Okay, well, I'll go with this next since I knocked it over. I have an empty bottle. Oh, it's on its last legs. Who's been in that situation? Uh-oh. This is the one where it won't pump anymore. Like, I better hope it's enough. That's clearly the sign right now. If you can do this, order more from us. That's the... Whoa, you're almost out. This is the complete dechlorinator with the pump head. Well, I think I saw someone else putting the pump head on there, and I was like, those guys are copying us. But I think there's one other company I saw out there including a pump head with this, but let's be real. This is my doing. This is my brain thinking, my testing. To be fair, maybe they did it way before me and I never saw. I don't think that's the case, though, because I'd never seen it. The manufacturer had never seen it before, so let's be real. But anyway, 1 pump per 10 gallons, super easy. I love it. That's what I keep laying around. It usually sits on top of my refrigerator in the fish room where I've got fish foods and stuff because I lose it. This is like a tape measure, by the way. I don't know if it's like that for you guys, but dechlorinator is like a tape measure. Once I use it and I set it down, it's gone. Like where? I was doing this tank. You know, it's like you were like, I'm working on this project. The tape measure can't be that far from where I am. Same thing with the dechlorinator for me. Every time, where did that go? So, yeah. Next up, the Aquarium Co-Op root tabs. Why do I have these? I was putting them in with the crypts, and I've actually got kind of a tipperino, I guess. What I've been testing lately, and I've done enough testing and I'm enjoying it that I'm willing to tell you guys. Now, this is the inside track. Don't, realize there's still a little bit of play to go on here, like a little bit of testing. I have found that putting the root tabs directly into a potted plant, which I don't have any, but like when you buy the plant from us and it comes in the pot, like Vallisneria, dwarf sage, any of the carpeting plants, the ones that I don't want to disturb the roots so they'll spread faster, putting a root tab right into the rock wool at the roots. So here's that. You got to push it way down in there, right? Then the gel cap dissolves and you've fertilized it. That seems to give it like a real boost to like, oh, look at that, doink, doink, doink. That's, by the way, that sound is what it makes every time it propagates. So if you ever hear that and you're walking by your aquarium, doink, your plant just made another one. That's what that is. So I know you guys didn't know that, but I like to solve these mysteries of aquariums for you. Doink. Yeah. All right. Next up, still testing expel-p. People ask all the time, like, when are you going to sell it? And my answer is, when I'm done testing it. When are you going to be done testing it? Probably not soon. I've kind of burned out on trying to get this to work the way I want it to work. Are people having some success with it? Yes, some people are. So I don't want to tell you to not buy it, but I'm only telling you why we don't carry it yet. I gotta vet stuff. If I'm gonna sit here and tell you guys, like, I test all the stuff, a lot, I gotta test a lot. And so meds, they take the most testing by far because meds are the things that kill the most things. And so if I'm not testing, I could say like, hey, everyone buy this, and I can kill, way too many fish by being careless with this. So that's why it's taking extended long time. I'm taking a break from testing because it's driving me nuts, and I don't have Camellinus redworm available to me, which is both good and bad. Normally I'm like, oh, it's great, but right now I want to test it against it. Don't have it. I think this might be the last thing I got, and then I can just ham it up, hang out with you guys. The Easy Iron was sitting around. I said, hey, I should grab that. That helps. I use it to help increase some reds in plants. Easy Green already has iron in it, so moderate redness, it's going to accomplish that. But if you want more reds, Easy Iron. When I get a good crypt garden going, so something like this over here, this is 50 pots of Cryptwendeti red. Even though they're mostly root feeders, I find I get a lot of benefit out of putting some Easy Iron in there because they can take it up through the water column also. They prefer the roots, but also the water column. So, I guess the last but not least, actually this is the last product. I have my 4-way gang valve. Still testing, still sitting here. It's like a fidget spinner for aquarium nerds. I'd probably sell more of these if I told you to buy one to have it sit on your desk, because it's just like, it's technical and like something so gratifying, like on off, on off, on off, on off. This is a fish nerd's fidget spinner because I do this all the time. No joke. You could probably go back in live streams and you'll see me doing it off camera, like, just playing with this thing. I do it in meetings all the time. Yeah, this thing sits on my desk all the time. So I can say this thing probably has on-off use of like 10,000 each because I just do this all day long with all of these. So I was able to make sure it doesn't, yeah. All right, so let's dive into questions. I'm going to go like another 15 minutes because I haven't even eaten breakfast or anything, which is horrible, by the way. I realized I'm drinking a Diet Coke, but I got thirsty. I was like, I'm going live in 2 minutes. What am I going to do? Grab a Diet Coke out of the fridge. It is what it is. I think my wife's getting donuts, though. I was dreaming about donuts for like the last week and a half, and so if I'm lucky, I'll get a donut, which is a bad breakfast, too. I'm usually a guy that wants donuts for dessert, like late at night. Not late at night, but like after dinner. But I'm dying for an old-fashioned donut. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? We got a bunch of new members. Thank you to everyone who had re-upped and became a member. Well, I guess I'll make this call out right now. Me. If you are a member after the live stream, I will again post the super secret forum. Now, don't worry. People are going to say, how dare you? You're holding content back from us from us non-paying members. No. The forum or the members are just beta testing it. So there's people like other influencers hanging out there. There's members hanging out there. I'm posting daily there. Eventually, it'll be open for everyone. But I have developers need to stylize it more. Right now, it's just kind of a gray color. It doesn't look great. And we're working on reputation systems, and we're working on, how to flag posts and do all that kind of stuff. And so I'll post it afterwards so the new members can go over there and join if you want and creep on all the super cool threads we got going. Yeah, but it's not open for the general public yet, and I don't know when. So don't say like, well, how about tomorrow? Like, no, we're at least probably a month out, at least a month. And that's because the developers, they're scoping out the work, all the custom stuff I want done. Then they start implementing that. And we'll go from there. So it's at least a month, so don't worry. Do I have any fish in the aquarium behind me? Nope, there's none in there yet. As of 2 days ago, we had it drained all the way down full of water. Soon, well, not soon. What I want all the plants to grow in a little bit so the roots get a real good foothold. Then I'm going to add schooling fish to it and let that go for another few weeks. Then I'll be adding Ladybird, which is my Moo puffer that's in my living room, to the tank. And she's big enough that she could uproot the plants if she got spooked or just wanted to move really quick. So we want to make sure all of that grows in well. Plus, I'm not sure that I'm done with the plants yet. Like, it's an evolution, right? Like, you plant it, you look at it, you got to let some grow in and go, okay. And depending on what plant I want to put in, I might have to drain the tank down to get in there and put it in. And so, yeah. Does ZISS make a gang valve? They don't. They don't make a gang valve. We have a video on how to make a gang valve out of them, but they don't make one themselves. Easy iron, use carefully. When I started, I got a bad hair algae problem from it. Well, yes, that's definitely true. I mean, excess iron usually leads to hair algae. Most people just dose things. They're like, yeah, I just put fertilizers in. Like, well, but you need it. That's the thing. Like, well, like I have a red plant, so I'm going to put a ton of red fertilizer. Like, no. Like, how do you know your water at your house doesn't already have iron in it? Most people don't have an iron test kit, so it's like, well, if you already had it in your tap water and Easy Green's putting it in and you're putting easy iron in, that's a lot. That's a lot of iron. So I know my water's got like nothing. So, okay, so I got to put stuff in there. And it's only when I start getting a lot of red plants going. So, here, if I have 50 pots in there and they all grow from this to like, okay, they're filling in, I'm going to have to start supplementing something. And so I'm going to use easy iron at some point. Now, this tank being kind of a brand new setup is I wouldn't be dosing easy iron yet. Easy green, yes. So I would, on the auto doser that I have, I would not hook up the easy iron yet. That's a good point, by the way, because I run this all the time, and I can't talk about it enough. There's a big difference between cycled aquarium and seasoned aquarium. I watch it happen, on the forum, people are having problems with it. They're like, well, my tank is cycled, I put shrimp in and they're dying. Well, your tank was set up for a week. And just because we use Turbo Start and Fritz Zyme 7 and all that, doesn't mean it's seasoned. Most things do best when the tank is seasoned. That means it's been up and going, you got a little bit of algae, you got mulm, you got an ecosystem thriving, not just I can convert some bacteria. So one of the reasons why I go really slow with my aquariums, you'd be like, most people are like, I'd have that thing filled tomorrow. It'd be full of fish. Like, yes, I could. Trust me, I own a fish store. Like, I've got everything lined up. They're in tanks. They're ready to go. It's all staged, right? Ready to go. But you want the plants to grow in. You want them to get good roots. You want the mulm to build up a little bit. You want to see algae on stuff. You want to see this is starting to look like nature. Nature is setting in here. When nature is thriving, you can bring in these live animals. Yes, they're a part of nature, but they rely on that part of nature to survive. So, but you're going, well, but I have a filter. Yes, it's an artificial piece of nature where we're growing bacteria, right? In a perfect world, I'd rather have it in my sand bed. I'd rather have it on the decorations, on the plants, all of that, like naturally get this thing working together instead of artificially. Could I change water a ton every day and get through it? I could, but it's much better if the ecosystem is just ready to handle it. And that's that seasoned part that I want to continually bring up over the years to come, is a seasoned aquarium. That's what I think we should be shooting for, not a cycled aquarium. By definition, if you're seasoned, it's already cycled. It's just like I think it's a better way. We're going to write more blog articles about it and that kind of stuff. By the way, if you haven't gone to our website, even if you live internationally, if you sign up for an account and click the accept marketing, you'll get our blog letter. Now, what do you get in our blog newsletter? No, it's not just buy our crap. In fact, I don't even know if we include, I think we have one little line that says buy our crap at the bottom with a few products. The only thing we've sent out for like the last several months, and the only thing that we plan to is the newsletter. And then, it's a blog post, and the blog post is usually something relevant to, it's always something relevant to freshwater aquariums, but it's like a handy tip. You can read the headline and go, that's not for me. I hate plants. Okay, move on. Oh, you love Placosmus. Read that one. And so it just means once a week, and then we're only sending one email, and we're not spamming you. Trust me, like one email a week, take it or leave it. I will say this, if you don't open up any of them for like, do I have some of my eyebrow here? Or is it just, it caught the mirror or the light weird? If you don't open any for like 4 or 5 weeks in a row, it's going to automatically remove you. If you get automatically removed, you got to sign up for the newsletter, get on the website. So there's a thing that says like sign up for the newsletter. It'll put you back on. So if you're not getting our newsletter, hit that. If you're not getting it and you did that, check your spam and that kind of stuff. Sometimes it'll get auto-flagged spam. And if you really want to be the Aquarium Co-op fan superstar supporter, go ahead and add us to your known contacts list. The more of you guys that do that, especially if you have a weird email provider, really helps us get out of the spam bin. Like with Gmail, we're in the doghouse. They keep putting us on promotional side. They keep doing all this. So the more, if you have Gmail, if you can put us in your main thing and add us to contacts and whitelist us, it'll really help. Because we don't spam. It's one email a week. It's informational only. Like 99% is informational only. That's it. And that's the way we want to keep it. So, we want to help people. Well, thank you for the sticker. I appreciate that. Author Nancy Kimball. And new members, thank you very much. I'm going to grab some more questions. How long do you think it takes to become a seasoned aquarium? To become a seasoned aquarium, I think at minimum it's a month. Now that would be if I like squeezed an old sponge filter in there and I got algae growing, but like a true seasoned over a long period of time, 6 months or more. But like basically what'll happen is I'll see the color change on the decorations. When I start seeing like, oh, there's splotchy diatom algae, that's the first sign algae's setting in. When I can see like, oh, the valve made a runner, that's another good sign for me, right? And so you look for a couple of really good signs going, okay, we're moving forward on 2 fronts here, feeling pretty confident to start adding the first fish. And that's what I'll do is I'll add some fish. And those some fish will start getting fed. And that will make sure that like, yep, algae's still growing, good. Oh, plant's still growing, good. And then what I'm doing from there is I'm going, okay, I'm going to add more fish. Algae's starting to grow. Well, maybe I'm going to add a couple of autosynclists in there. They're going to start eating on that. They're going to start pooping, making more mulm. Okay, that's good. Start getting that in balance. Add some more fish. Ooh, add more fish, add more food, get more algae. Maybe I add a few more autosynclists. And you kind of just keep, going back and forth until you're like, wow, I just have this level this aquarium runs at, and runs really well now. And you're learning about how much water should I be changing and how fast the plant's growing, how much fertilizer should I be putting in, all of these things you're learning before you have a lot of fish, a lot of money invested in those fish, and I got to use meds, So like, let's say they got sick, I'm going to disrupt everything in there by putting meds in and doing all that. Like, even if it doesn't kill off the bacteria, the fish feel weird. You've got chemicals with the plants. Like, it's just a different environment. And so I try to make sure everything's as strong as I can before I ever jeopardize putting something into that environment. So, Fish Room Fever with the $20. Well, thank you, buddy. He did a big order from us. If you want to see what that was like, check out his channel. He ordered an air pump and other things. And so he does a lot of live streaming, by the way. I'm surprised you're not live right now. He does like a Saturday night. I think he does 2 on Saturdays. I never have time to... That's not true. That's a lie. I never make time to stop in on those. I'll try at some point, but I think I just always end up being... Saturdays a lot of times, because they're a weekend day, I film a lot. And you're probably like, you only make a video a week. How much can you film? Like, sometimes I got to film a lot to make one video. Like, that's just, so, and like right now we're trying to make a video for every single product on the website. And there's, like I'm doing little stuff, like little projects for the forum. So like I make a lot of content, but not all of it becomes a video on YouTube. So, but weekends are usually where I try to hammer that out, because it's the least interruptions. Like, oh gosh, after about 4:30 tonight, like right now, I know that we've packed 101 packages so far today. There's 124 more to go, and as you guys pack them, as you guys order them, they'll be packing them until 4:30 today. After 4:30, warehouse shuts down. Then it's just a retail store for the most part. I can have just work on filming. It's a good time to work on filming right now. So. Yeah, Hotmail sent you to my spam box. Hotmail's out to get us. That's why we trim it so much. So, like, if you don't open after 4 or 5, we trim it, because if you're not opening, eventually we're just training your email provider that you don't like this and it thinks it's spam. And so we're working on making sure that doesn't happen. So, if we didn't trim, we'd have we send it out to 250,000 people. But, we want it to people actually opening. So, like, on the last one, the last newsletter we sent out, 14,000 people opened it and read it, right? So that's good. I think that's a lot. Now, there's definitely people like, well, I have 400,000 people. And like, well, yeah, but how many opened it and read it? Like, there's one thing to be like, I sent out 10,000 coupons. How many redeemed? None? Oh, that didn't work out very well, did it? So we don't send coupons, but, you get it. You get it. Okie dokie. Teresa Kyle, I finally made it to my first live stream. That's why I did it on a different time. Give people a different chance. I'm glad it was your first time. Well, I'm not glad it's your first time. It means you haven't had the chance, but I'm glad you made it. That's what And Daniel Winkler, if that's your last name, I'm jealous. I wish I was Corey Winkler. I would just do this. I'd be winking at everything. Everyone would just think I'm coming on to him. Doesn't matter. Like, it would never get old for me. I know you how old you are. You're like, yeah, that joke's been made all the time. Like, I can amuse myself far too easily. What's the average lifespan of platies? I would say between 2 and 3 years. You can get a little bit less, you can get a little bit more. Depends on temperature, depends on how old they were when you got them, depends on your care. There's a few of those things there, but I'd say 2 or 3 years. You can definitely get more though. I don't want it to be like, oh, this guy had one for 4.5 years. What a moron! Like, no. Yes, you can get some longevity out of them. Keep them cooler temperatures. Feed them lower protein diets. Don't breed them all the time. Like, there definitely is some tactics depending on if it's variatus or if it's highly inbred or it's just a red wag platy. There's a gamut there. But shooting from the hip, whoosh, that's a whip sound. That's not a gun sound. Anyway, shooting from the hip. 2 to 3 years. Plan on that. Whereas like a guppy, I would say by the time you're buying it from the store, plan 1 to 2 years. And yes, same thing. There's that range. There's that range there. So. Okie doke. I got a co-op package coming today for myself. You guys are so fast. We've got 4 in the last like 6 weeks. Well, no, 2 months. We hired on 4 warehouse associates, and we are so lucky. Somehow, we were able to find 4 people who are amazing. And I'm not saying like our other employees are amazing too, but I was worried. I was real worried, like, oh gosh, like we have to hire people, and you're always worried you're gonna get someone that's like, oh no, like they're not working out. And we've got 4 amazing people that joined the team, and it's been really nice. It's been allowing us to catch up on stuff and prepare, because right now we're in the middle of summer, right? That's why I'm doing this telethon. Call now, buy now. Middle of summer, sales are always down in the summer, but when COVID hit, a lot of you guys ordered a lot of stuff, and to keep up, we had to hire people. And I don't like to let people go. I don't like seasonal help. I like to make a commitment to, let's get you health insurance, let's get you 401k, let's make you a career out of this, let's let you work here for as long as you ever want to work here, and not like, well, I only need you for the winter. See ya next year maybe. So got to carry them through the summer, and that's where this telethon comes in. Like, hey, if you're thinking about buying, please buy. Keep our people busy, because we will be busy going into winter and all of that, because people come back. Right now, people are traveling or vacationing or whatever, right? You might be camping or whatever you're doing, hanging out in the yard, not with your aquarium. If you're doing that, you're probably not watching this, but yeah. So keep them busy, and that's good for them. They make money, we make money, we keep our employees, they get more experience. All of those good things happen, and I feel very fortunate that we were able to hire people, and they've really meshed in well and are doing a great job in a short amount of time. I'm very thankful for that. That's always makes life a lot easier. So, how do you select a breeding pair of bristlenose plecostomus? For the most part, a male and a female after about 12 to 14 months of age will breed. Now, it's not 100%, but like I'm not sure I've ever really failed where you're like, oh, I've got an adult male and adult female, put them together, make them happy, feed them right. They pretty much will make more. I'm sure there's like, oh, 1 out of 10 times that doesn't work. I've only paired like that probably 6 times, because once you get a pair going, you're like, I got way too many babies. Oh no. And then a lot of times you get accidental pairs where you're like, I was growing out fry. Oh no, they got too old now, they're breeding. What am I gonna do? A lot of times you can buy breeding pairs from a store, though. That's what I like about retail stores. Like in my store, a few times a year you can walk in and be like, oh, you have a breeding pair for sale. $45, $55 if I take the cave. All right, let's do it. I'll take it home, make some babies. You can't really do that online. Like you can, like they'll say like the pairs, but how do you know? Like at the store, you'd see eggs and everything, and be like, oh, legit, this is happening, right? And so, yeah, I think I answered that question. Good enough. Ordered $240 of Co-op goodness. Wow, I can't believe you bought 240 of these things. That's commitment. Oh, I thought that was going to fall. I've got the craziest tower of precarious products sitting right here that I'm going to sneeze, and there's going to be an Aquarium Co-op avalanche off of my desk. Anyway, I'll finish. And it shipped in under 2 hours. It's coming Monday. Yes, so right now we have the cutoff, I think, set to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But the reality is most people that order before like about 1 Pacific time, so that's 4 p.m. Eastern time, it will ship the same day. I just don't put it on the website because we can't guarantee it. What if someone had to go home sick, or there's a problem with the internet or anything like that? And even if there was, like I hope people have like a little bit of leeway, but yes, we overstaff, and we want to one of our main goals is impress you with how fast we ship. So even if USPS is slow or it gets lost or something, I placed an order, Aquarium Co-op did their part and got it in the mail as fast as possible. That is our goal. Now, obviously we take care because we don't want to ship twice, we don't want to do any of that, but our goal is we know we can control before you buy, basically. We can market to you, we can have the products, we can choose that, and we can prepare them for shipping. Once UPS takes over, something we can do, but we optimize everything through here. How can we make it better? How can we do it better? How can we do it better? How can we do it better? In fact, I can announce this, but do know that we could run out. Right now, we have our software set up. It's when you place an order and you place for live plants, it goes out and it says, okay, where do you live? All right, you live in New Jersey. All right, what's the temperatures in New Jersey over the next 4 days? Take the average of that. If it crosses this threshold, put all the plants in a heat resistant liner. So we have the foil that will reflect heat out or in. So when it's freezing, heat stays in, right? When it's cold or when it's hot, reflect heat out. Now, it's not gonna, if it's 110 and now it's 140 in your mailbox, like it can't stop that, right? But if it's 100, it might only be 80 inside that thing now, right? And so it's detecting that, and we're adding, like yesterday, I saw we added 100 liners because it's hot around the country. We added 100 liners. We don't charge anyone anything for that. It's just we go, hey, we can optimize here, and we can do a little bit. Like, it still isn't going to prevent it sitting way too hot in the sun for too long. But it's one more step of like, yeah, but if it was like on the back of a truck and then it, sat outside for like 4 minutes and then it went to another truck and then it got delivered to their mailbox, sat there for 20 minutes, they brought it in, it'd be really good. Now, if it sits there for 2 hours, whether it's got a liner or not good. Probably still be okay. Only in the extremes like Arizona and some parts of California and Texas and stuff like that where it's like, oh my gosh. So if your state's like on fire right now, plants probably aren't the best. But do know if you're on the fence, we do now have a solution to help with that. Now, if they show up melted or there's a problem, calmly email us and we'll be like, oh dang, that sucks. Okay, would you like a refund? Would you like, if we have them in stock, we can reship them? And if we reship them, they melted again, we'd be like, okay, well, we can refund your money, try ordering again in the winter, but that doesn't happen too often. Usually it's just like a really hot spike, like, oh geez, or this time you go, oh, I'll make sure it doesn't sit outside or sit on the mailbox for too long, because you get a notification in your email when they're delivered, when they're out for delivery and when they're delivered. So it's like, oh, they're gonna be out today, and then when it gets delivered, you get another one going, oh, okay, I better go get that. All right, it's past my time to eat a donut. Have you ever considered keeping rainbow darters? I love the green darters. I think darters are super cool. I want to kind of go collect some, but I've never done it yet. So definitely considered it. Haven't acted on it. That's a very good thing. All right. What are your required qualifications for someone to be able to work in the store? Just a basic knowledge in fish keeping, school, degrees, training? We don't have any, there's no like official degrees or anything like that. Let me think if this statement's true. All the people we have working in the store were customers for like over a year. So we kind of get to know them. We know their knowledge level. You can always train knowledge, but you can't always train work ethic and stuff like that, and compatibility. Can they speak to customers well? Do they respect the opinions of the elderly, children, everyone in between, any race, any nationality, any gender, anything like that. Like, so for me, when I was hiring, and I don't hire anymore, I'll give advice. Someone asks me, if Randy or Robert asks me, I'll go, hey, well, here's what I experienced, or here's what I think. Oh yeah, I remember that person. They used to come in the store all the time. Here's what I remember. But I go a lot on a gut feel. Like, a good person's a good person. You can teach them how to keep fish, and you can teach them how to educate people, but you can't teach someone how to be a good person, how to have compassion, how to care. Like, that's your own soul searching of like, do I care about the work I'm doing? And that's really what we find the biggest thing. There's always, I do this because it pays really well job, and I've done that in my life. And then there's, I do this because I love it job, and I get paid for it, right? And that's a different thing. Not everyone's experienced that. I had never experienced it until I worked at a fish store. I worked for a college at one point. I ran a failed like computer repair store that I started up and killed within like a year. It was a horrible thing. Anyway. Then I worked as an oxygen delivery person, and I worked at Costco for a while. I was, when you go to Costco and you're like, ooh, let me get one of them shrimps. Let me get one of them chips. I was the person with the hairnet and all that going, let me make you that shrimp. Let me make you them chips. I was the sample person, and I did that for like a year. And it was because while I was in college, I could do that on the off days, right? So if I was at college like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I could be they're flexible schedules. Like, oh yeah, you can be a demo person on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and so that worked out well. So yeah, but then I started working in a fish store. Even though I donated my time, it didn't even matter. Like I was enjoying it. I talked about fish all the time, and I really enjoyed it. And so we're looking for, a lot of times the customers are ones that we get along with anyway. We'll end up chatting with them after hours. We'll end up like they come in once a week and they're breeding fish and they're just, I don't know, somehow being around and being helpful. And you know, that's usually how we choose. My dogs have invaded.
Do you want your donuts?
No, I'll have a donut after.
All right, come on, baby.
My wife has got donuts. Lance, hi.
Now you gotta give her a treat.
I started this where I was giving my dogs treats every time they came out because they were scared to be in this room. And now they're not scared; they're just demanding of treats. So, here, there you go, you ravenous beasts. Go get mom.
Let's get treats.
Go,
Let's get
go on. Treats are all done. See how they run out. Now my hands smell like dog treats. That's our motto at work. You can teach someone how to do the job, but you can't teach a good attitude. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff goes a long way. You know, and if you've ever been in somewhere where you work, you've seen it where someone's got a bad attitude, they're dragging everyone down. All of a sudden, everyone's crabby and grouchy. And like in our warehouse, it's warm. In our fish store, it's warm right now. Yes, do we install air conditioning in the warehouse? Yes. Do we, like on the forum, we installed this giant fan, and Randy's in love with the brand. Pardon my French, by the way, so mute it if you're worried. I'll give you that 10-second chance to mute it. The fan is called a big-ass fan. And yeah, we paid some absurd amount of money for it, and it's got these like giant wings on it, and it turns slowly, and the air in the whole warehouse just moves awesome. But yeah, you know, it's definitely, I find it is a working relationship with my employees. So yes, do I pay them? Yes. But do I, like, we provide drinks, so we bought a brand new, you know, like glass door fridge for all the drinks we supply. We bought brand new lunchroom tables for them because we hired 4 more employees, right? 4 more employees meant, you know, we needed more lunch space because we're social distancing and that kind of stuff, right? But it's a contract between you and your employees of like, I'm going to take care of you, but you're going to take care of me, the business owner, and our customers, right? Like that's the contract we got going. If you don't care, why should I care if you have health insurance? Why should I care if you get drinks? Why should I care if you have air conditioning? Because by law, I can let it be 85 degrees all day long. It can be horrible. I don't want to work in that, so I don't do that. And, you know, but that's the thing. It's like the social contract of like, I'll make it a good place to work. You do a good job. We'll have happy customers. And we'll just keep doing that until someone doesn't want to be on this ride anymore, right? And so finding people that fit in on that ride can be hard sometimes, you know. And especially in the warehouse or even retail. You get someone that like comes out from Target, they're like, no, you just sit here and make sure people don't steal stuff. That's what the job is. Like, no, the job is being active, engaging with customers. Do they have a problem? Can you treat their fish? Can you do this? What can I do for you today? And so it takes like a motivated individual to be bright and bubbly. And someone's at the pet store, you know, every day a kid comes in, I'm here, I'm at the pet store, look at this fish, Mom, look at this. Like they're excited to be there. And if that doesn't, you know, enter your consciousness a little bit, you're probably in the wrong spot. Like if you're not excited to be like, they just saw mollies for the first time and they love them. I remember when I saw mollies for the first time and I remember when they had babies. Oh, they're going to love that. Like, how can I enhance their experience? Same thing at the warehouse. Like, you don't get that moment, but we all get excited. We're like, yes, this brine shrimp filters came in, or like, oh, a new product that's selling really well. That's great for the company. We love that. You know, and like, oh, it's someone's birthday. You know, I think it was Haley's birthday last week. And so there's a bakery close to our warehouse. We went and bought Reese's cupcakes for everyone. I think we got Reese's and Oreo. You know, so we try to make it a little bit fun. Now, I get it. You buy 12 cupcakes, and it's only $20, guy. It's the thought that counts. So like, hey, we're gonna take some time. We're gonna go buy some. Hey, it's Pizza Friday. Let's get you some pizza today. Hey, it's real hot. Let's get you guys some smoothies. Let's just try to make it not like your job is to show up and work for $4 an hour and you're gonna like it. And if you don't, you can go somewhere else and we'll find someone else to work for $4 an hour. We're not about that at all. We're about like everyone starts at $17 an hour, but the majority of people, and I say majority, will advance past that. If it's not working out, you're not going to. But, we have people making, well in excess of that too. I don't want to talk about anyone's specific income, but I try to be more than fair with how fast we're growing, with, what we can do. And like, we're in the middle of summer right now, sales are down, so it's that social contract between myself, my managers, and the employees, and go, hey, are we having, you can only have so much fun at work. Let's be real. If you got to dig a ditch for a living, there's only so much fun you can have digging a ditch, but maybe you got some music going. Maybe you squirt some with the hose because it's hot that day. Like, you try to make it more bearable. That's the key. And so, yeah, today we've picked 850, or we've packed 850 items, and there's another 1,236 items to go. At the end of the day, yes, it's just 3,000 items that people are like, yep, put it in a box, put it in a box, put it in a box, put it in a box. But you try to make it fun. You try to make it a little bit different each day, and you add different elements. So that's all I got, I guess. Are the stickers shipping out with Easy Green in Canada? We do have our, I believe, don't hold me to it, I believe we have green stickers with the ones in Canada. I think. I'm not the one packing them. I know we've done it in the past. I think we're still doing it, but I don't 100% know. So, all right, I gotta get working. I got work to do. I got a donut calling my name, Corey Donut, and yeah. Oh, here, hold on. Mike says, I manage a local fish store based in Raleigh? I don't know how to say that. North Carolina. We do $100,000 in revenue monthly in store, but are trying to transition to online sales. Any suggestions? Get yourself a point of sale system that can share the inventory between online and in store, and decide who's going to be the one that actually handles it. Most places go like, we're online now. Well, what are you doing for that? We're online now. Okay, but like, who's really engaging social media? Who's, where I see people fall down, most companies, who's going to be your rock star customer service team, right? So Candy is amazing, but Randy and I have to support Candy and Robert, where she's like, hey, a customer needs to know this water bottle. How tall is it? What's the circumference? I need these stats. We don't have it on the website. And then I'm going, oh God, I got to get that on the website long term. But for now, let's get that answered. And her average time, I'm not looking at it right now, but when I looked at it the other day, was an hour and 45 minutes. Or no, it was less than that. It was like an hour and 15 minutes was the average response time from Candy. Most companies go, well, as long as we answer within a day or two. That ain't how it is anymore. Online has gotten very competitive. So if you're not answering emails within 2 hours, you're behind the curve, right? And so it's 2 hours for the first response. And on average, we've resolved a problem within 4 hours. So that means you go, hey, I'm having an issue. My fish are sick, or there's something missing from my order, or I have a question about a product. We go, here's the response. And then within 4 hours, thank you, that's exactly what I needed. I'm going to place the order now, or yes, go ahead and ship that, or oh, I'll try that with my fish. We mark it as done. So a 4-hour turnaround time, and think about that. That's not just during business hours. That's on Sunday. That's on the middle of the night. That's an average, right? So if you're emailing right now, like right now she's in a live stream, but outside of right now, she's just working, right? And then at night, yeah, there's going to be a few that trickle in at 3 to 6 a.m., and she'll wake up, answer them. And so that's an average. So a lot of times she's actually answering even faster. And so that would be the thing, is like, what's going to set you apart? If we all sell this Fritz glass acrylic cleaner, and we all got to ship it basically with free shipping and cheaply and all that, you're going to lose money on shipping and all those things. What sets you apart from me or any other big chain store? It's the customer service. That's really the only thing you can do, because legally you can't go below the minimum advertised price. you get cut off. So if you can't go cheaper, the only thing you can do is make up for it with customer service. And most people fall down on that because they don't realize how intense it's going to be. They don't realize how hard it is to be like, well, just look at the product. They can't look at it. They're remote, right? And so you gotta really work on that. And it's not an easy thing. You're gonna go, well, we do $100,000 a month in your store. You're like, we made $3,000 a month. It's not wasting my time. Waste of my time. Why do we have cost me more money to have the customer service employees and the people to ship and all of that than making $3,000? Yes, but what does it look like in a year? What does it look like in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? And the good news is because you have a retail store, you can at least share the inventory. So if you have 6 of these sitting on the shelf, when someone orders one online, great. You have someone pull it, ship it. Now you got 5 on the shelf. You don't, like right now, we might have 400 of these at the warehouse and 24 at the store. We carry dual inventory. You know, we got to transfer it and all that, but at the beginning it was all one inventory. So you basically can put your money to work, so to speak. And at the first, it's probably you packing it and you doing the customer service. But real soon, if you're doing anything right, you're going to need help to, how do you market? How do you get your name out there? You know, and then someone like your boss or the owner is going to go, but now we got local people ordering. We got to ship it to them. They were coming in. We're making less money. It used to be they walked in, they gave us $8, they bought this and walked back out. Now, they gave us $8, they paid $6 shipping, but it cost us $8 to ship it to them. So now we only made $1. We used to make $2. And you'd be like, yep, that's a convenience thing. It's keeping our customer happy. But at scale, when you're shipping 2, 3, 4, 500 orders a day, that's when it makes sense. But in the short term, you're going to go, this doesn't make sense at all. This is a horrible idea. And it's very competitive. I can't stress that enough. You know, competitive. Take care of your customer. Offer wicked good customer service. Find the right people, and you got a chance. That's what I can say. Is you got a chance if you line up all those things. Because just because you got all that, you know, doesn't mean you're successful. And I don't take that for granted. Just because we've been lucky at all this time, doesn't mean it couldn't end tomorrow. Make the wrong decision, lose key people, start not taking care of our employees. Ooh, my wife would like to know what kind of donut Corey is getting. My guess, I usually ask for old-fashioned. I think I asked for a cruller French donut as well, and then an old-fashioned maple. Now, you're going to be like, that dude's eating 3 donuts? No. Usually it's like a half to 1 donut because I like savory way more than sweet. So I'm like, dang, donuts, geez, so sweet. Ugh. Whereas like a bag of chips, yeah, I'm going to murder that bag of chips. But a donut, it's like, okay, that's enough. Ooh, sweet. So yeah. All right. Do I ever get to play with rainbow shiners? Yes. I've kept them in outdoor ponds. We've sold them at the store. Yeah, definitely play with those. Is it too hot to ship plants to Texas? Probably. In some parts of Texas, real hot. We do have the liners. You can take your chance. If you got a little brain knowledge, know that things like Anubias will handle temps better. Stem plants don't handle it as well. Crypts are going to melt back a little bit. Dwarf Aquarium lily bulbs would be just fine. Crinum would probably be fine. And maybe that's like a future thing. Lizzie, if you're listening, put it on our to-do list of like somewhere down the road, let's make a list on how well does this ship in extreme temperatures, both extreme cold, extreme hot. We could be like, yeah, this aquarium lily bulb, it'll ship in anything, right? But then like, oh, this stem plant, like pogo or like cryptocorn, when did I read? Super cold or super hot, not great. So, all right, I got to go. I got to do work. Have I ever used Herbtana? Yes, it's garbage. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even finish it. I used it and my fish are not responding after a week of treatment for ick. Yeah, there's a big run on the industry. Everyone wants to make an herbal supplement that will treat ick. Guess what? If it worked, it had been out there the last 30 years. So no one's found it yet. That doesn't mean someone won't find it. The reason everyone wants to do herbal, because it doesn't have to be monitored by the FDA. You can sell it in the United States, in Canada, in the UK, in Germany, in India. It can go worldwide. No one's been able to pull it off yet. So when someone does, it's going to be very profitable. But that means every company's got this product where like, well, it doesn't kill ick, but it doesn't not kill ick either. Like in a setting, we were able to prove it killed a cyst, therefore it kills ick. Like, yes, but what are real life people examples, what's happening with them. And right here, he's saying it didn't work. And that's what I hate. I hate when companies sell stuff they knowingly doesn't work at all. The only one that I still like think about it. We sold Melifix and Pimafix. They like half work. They'll work on like some things, but they're not even like 100%, but they work for enough people where it's like, you know, there's some merit there. But there's some things like herb tanna and some of these other herbal remedies that are like, no one on the planet has a good result of that thing. And when I say no one, there's always that subset, you know, where it's like, I took herb tanna, made donuts taste better. Like, sure, yeah, okay. But out of the next 100 people, turns out it doesn't make a donut taste better. So 9 out of 100 don't get that experience. That's a product not working, in my opinion. So, all right, I'm out of here. Left you with the hate on the herb tanna. Gonna go eat a donut. Go get yourself a donut on this nice hot day. Get to work with your aquariums like I'm gonna do. And if you're a member, I'm gonna post a link to the forum. If you want to see that after the fact, all you got to do is go into the community tab, and you'll see a member post. If you're a member, you can go hang out with us. Now, obviously, there's rules over there. You got to be respectful. You got to do all those things. And it's not just Corey only answer stuff. It's a community there. So I'm there every day, but it's not just Q&A with Corey. It's be a part of a group. So, all right. Have a good day, guys. A new video tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. Yep, that's true. And we'll see you next time.